All right, Terry, in honor of this week's episode, I'm going to give you a food, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind with that food when you dip something in. A sauce that you dip that food in.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Corn dogs.
Corn dogs. Oh, like like corn dogs. You gotta do the ketchup and the mustard together and mix it
Mm,
in.
okay. How
That'd be
about
good.
French fries?
French fries. Oh, now French fries, you definitely gotta go with the ranchicue. Or wait, hold on. Maybe how about some honey must ranch? Or the best one, sriracha. Sriracha does kind of sound good, you gotta admit.
All right, you're not wrong there. But welcome, everybody, back to the Almost Sideshow. My name is Adam, and that is our dipping expert, Terry. And we are breaking down Breaking Bad. Break down a Breaking Bad. We're already at episode 2 of season 5, and this one is called Madrigal. I don't know.
Madrigal.
Madrigal. Yes, Madrigal. This is going to be a fun one because this is an episode dedicated to Mike, our favorite security guard / ex-cop / grandfather, whatever you want to call him. He's very awesome. It gets front and center a scene here. Yeah, Terry. Do you remember watching this episode way back when? I know you've only seen this. You didn't see it live when it was happening, but do you recall your first experience with the episode?
Yeah, I've watched this episode 2 or 3 times probably, and yes, there are some vivid memories from this episode. There's some great scenes that I'm sure we're going to talk about that yeah, are definitely memorable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a setup episode, right? This is exploring our new Gusless world. So
Yeah, the Great Beyond. What's funny is they mentioned 4th of July, and we're kind of around that same time period. It's kind of a coincidence that kind of happens. And yeah, Gusless world here. We're seeing the bigger upper management level of what Gus is his corporation, which is a fascinating development. And we're seeing some Hank on the job. Hank and Gomi doing some interrogations. We see a couple returning characters. Mr. Chow is back, as well
yes,
as the Roomba.
as well as the Roomba. Yeah, well, let's get into it.
Let's dive
Shall
into
we?
it. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Breaking Bad, season 5, episode 2, which aired when, Adam?
Oh, yes, it aired July 22nd, 2012.
There we
Thank you.
go. And it is entitled Madrigal. All right, here's our synopsis. Apparently, the death of Gustavo Fring reverberates all the way to Germany. One guy commits suicide, 11 people end up with a bounty on their heads. It's all in a day's work for the mysterious Madrigal. What else are they going to do? The DEA is after them now to see how much they were involved in Gustavo's covert dealings. They're saying all the right things, but behind the scenes, they're nervous. Like Lydia, who asks Mike
Mm-hmm.
to take care of some loose ends. When he refuses, he becomes one of those loose ends. It's the last thing Mike needs. He's kind of got a lot on his plate right now. Walt and Jesse want to start cooking again, and they want Mike to help make some connections for them in the world Gus lived in. Then he goes to be interrogated by Hank and Gomi, who just found out their boss is going to be the scapegoat for the whole Gus debacle. During the interrogation, Mike finds out that the DEA has discovered the secret offshore accounts that were put in place to pay the loose ends to be quiet. Even Mike's money is gone. Well, his granddaughter's money. Anyways, then a friend tries to kill him after killing Chow. So now his friend is dead. That sucks. Now he has to take care of Lydia until he realizes she might be the resource they need. He's going to help Walt and Jesse, and he just found their methylamine supplier. Makes a good day for Walt even better. First, Walt planted a dummy cigarette in Jesse's house that they found so he would stop worrying about the missing ricin. He started the process with Saul about finding a new cook location, and now Mike is in. Now, if only Skylar will get out of bed. Like, that would be perfect for him. Well, maybe it's not a horrible thing she won't get out of bed. makes it easier for him to creepily cuddle her and whisper sweet criminal nothings in her ear. Just what a girl wants.
Yeah, this was an episode here. I like how now we are getting, even with the ominous music at the very end of the episode, that Walter White is the big bad of the show. Like he comes across very like mustache twirling, evil doer, even like creepily seducing his wife or trying to, like very like. And what a way to end this episode. I'm kind of like, maybe Vince Gilligan's like the biggest LVP and biggest villain of this show, of this episode, because of how we ended it. But at the same time, this is a setup episode through and through, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves with where we're going with it. Obviously, we have a good little taste in our mouth there. We're kind of clamoring for some more, but they're going to give it to us later. Typical Breaking Bad like setup episode. But at the same time, there's some really great things under the surface here, like Jesse's Aaron Paul's performance here as Jesse when he breaks down and cries, finding the ricin cigarette in his Roomba. Also getting some new characters here. Fascinating, where she like doesn't want to be just like disappear, which I think that's everybody's nightmare, just disappearing there. But really focusing on Mike here, I think, was something we hadn't had too much happen before. So having that, it's a much needed, refreshing take on this for the show to take. So very solid episode, but again, it's a setup episode. Not much is happening here. Just kind of little pawns being moved around and played with. Overall, pretty decent episode for season 5.
Yeah, it's the second straight episode where we end with Walt and Skylar. And you're really getting the idea that, Skylar's kind of damaged goods now.
Mm-hmm.
Completely traumatized by the whole situation. So you got that. You touched on something that you're kind of getting the vibe of, like you asked when we finished season 4, who's the new bad guy? Right? Gus is gone. Who's the new bad guy? And it might just be Walter White.
It might just be Walter White, yeah. Yeah, that's what I think too, is that it being Walter White kind of makes sense. Like we saw at the end of the first episode, he's getting a little big for his britches. He's drinking his own Kool-Aid, so to speak, and he's thinking really highly of himself, even talking down to Mike and Jesse. He's saying he's going to be equal owners of the new corporation together, but we all know who's going to be the mastermind, who's going to probably get the biggest cut. It's going to be Walter here, and him just creepily like trying to seduce his wife. That it's just like that is a haunting image. That's very. My wife was like, "Oh, this is the wrong time. Read the room," like essentially.
But you got to remember though, like go back to the beginning of the show. When Walt is in Heisenberg mode, that's when he's horny, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Good
Like
point.
he has those moments, like the moment at the meeting at the school, and then they end up doing it in the back of the
breaking the
car.
law.
Right, and then the end of the first episode, right? He gets back from the first outing in the RV and immediately gets in bed and
Gets his
with his
rocks off.
wife. And yeah, so there's something to that. And the only difference is now Skylar's in on what is actually happening,
Yeah.
which makes it a little different. Okay, let's talk a little bit. You said the focus of this episode is Mike, and Mike has some amazing moments in this episode. Uh, whether it is and all of them kind of revolve, like I've got 3 things written down for my best scenes, and they all have to do with Mike. Um, First, you've got the interrogation scene
Yep. Great scene.
where because you've got Hank, who, I mean, you can't get much better than Hank, right? Hank knows what he's doing. Gomi's in there helping out. kinda, but
kind of helping.
he's just kind of sitting there. And Mike owns them, right? He just owns them. And like he waives the right to his attorney. He says everything he's supposed to say. He's got that deadpan look on his face.
I think.
He knows exactly what's going on. Um, I want to know what happened in
Reach your
Philadelphia.
cuffs.
Yeah, you forget your cuffs. If I'm not arrested, I would like to go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. It's just great watching that mano a mano that we
Mhm.
hadn't seen before, right? They didn't.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite lines there is like, "Can I call you Mike? Michael? You can call me Mister Trout. Okay,
Mike.
Mike."
Yeah. You said something like, "Man, I wonder what happened in Philadelphia." I think it was like he took a guy. He kind of mentioned it. Like, didn't he take out a guy out in the sticks and try to kill him? Or he went,
Oh, that might have. You think that's what got him kicked off the force?
well, remember that he couldn't kill that guy, and he went home and killed that lady he was kind of protecting too, and that could be like the downfall of his police work, where he's like, I should have just done it. Could be.
Yeah, it could
Very
be.
could be. It could be. It could be a downward spiral for that. Wouldn't be
Maybe
too
something
far off.
that is talked about a little more in Better Call Saul, because I know
Mm,
Mike plays a big role in that. Um,
that'd be interesting. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's a whole backstory to Mike we know nothing about that he brings up briefly here. Um, and yeah, it's just and so that's a cool scene. And then the two interactions with Mike and Lydia are are great. Like
Mm.
first, you got the diner, yeah, which is
Are
just
you coming to me or am I coming to you?
and then oh Dwayne, I didn't even see you there. Don't worry, you're safe. Um, that's just a great scene on so many levels. Like you got Mike being Mike, you've got Lydia freaking out over what kind of tea they have. Um,
We've never seen this character before either, right?
no, this is a brand new character that we're just now meeting.
Hmm.
And what an introduction, right? We first see her in the meeting where DA's meeting with Madrigal, and then we see her freaking out because they have is Lipton tea.
Enjoy
So
your hot water.
yeah, enjoy your hot water. And yeah,
It's a good one.
so yeah. So you got that. And then the ending where he pulls the gun on her because she put the hit out on him,
Hmm.
and the whole thing, I can't, my daughter can't think I abandoned her. It just
It's good stuff. Yeah.
that that is just a heartbreaking scene. And she has to find me. I have to be found. Like, and in Mike's shoes, he's like, this, you can't be found. That's the whole point of this. Otherwise, people start asking questions. But it's just a great scene.
Yeah. All those scenes are really great, and I had the interrogation scene down myself just because how well he played those two guys too, and they were playing kind of filling each other out.
Hmm.
But then the ending sequence with Lydia that's a great call, great shot there as well. Um, I have to say, like one of the scenes I really liked because I love what Breaking Bad does this because they have a way with picking great songs, especially songs you've never really heard of before. And I want to point out, like, even though I don't really like what happened, like with him planting that cigarette somewhere in the
Mm.
Roomba, I do like the song played by Whitey from their Great Shakes Volume 2 Remastered Edition CD from 2020. Stay on the Outside song that plays over. That's a great, like, really cool song. I never heard that song before, but it was super catchy. Had a figure out what song that was, but that the whole sequence, how it's edited, they always have a way of like having a really good song with really flashy editing that really plays well. But the best part of the whole sequence is he's like, I almost shot you, and he's like breaking down and crying, and it's Aaron Paul truly being the best part of the entire show. Like he is like even Bryan Cranston's, while he's good, like he's not in Aaron Paul's like league right now. It seems like on an acting scale. Yeah, I would say probably Bryan Cranston was better at the beginning of the series, but like since like the like midway through like the season, I don't know. I didn't care for the whole hobos living in his house type of situation. But after that, like midway through season 4, like you're seeing a different like another level for Aaron Paul, and
he had it right. That's the thing. Like he's freaking out. He's freaking out about the whole thing of he almost shot Walt and all this stuff. He had it right. He read the situation right. And now Walt, again, not the first time he's done it to him. Again, he's watching Jesse melt down and completely lose it because of something that was completely out of his control that Walt did. And as I was watching it, my wife in that scene looked at me and said, the only time Walt takes on a fatherly role with Jesse is when he's mourning something Walt is responsible for. Because you've got
very manipulative.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only time he is sympathetic in any way is when Walt is the reason he needs sympathy. Because you had everything with Jane, like the way he answered the phone when that happened, the way he dealt with everything surrounding that, and now here, it's not your fault. It's fine. It's taken care of now.
I wouldn't change anything.
Right. But if it was actually what happened, Walt wouldn't let him hear the end of it, right? Like, the screw up screws up again.
Oh yeah, good point.
It's fascinating that you've got that. He's only sympathetic and fatherly when he's the reason he's feeling something.
Yeah.
Which just adds that whole other level to that scene.
That is true. Yeah, it's really good. Just solid stuff from both of them. But you feel for Jesse in those moments because it's like, I kind of want Jesse to like at some point, like I don't know how we get there, but like how does Jesse figure out like what's going on? Like Jesse is becoming so smart in how he's been dealing with things. Like I foresee a world where there's a possibility he does kind of put 2 and 2 together and figure it out. I would hope be a good like kind of like eye-opening moment for them, but at the same time, this is Jesse and Walt we're talking about here. These are 2 guys like we've been wanting them to actually work together again, and now probably next episode they're going to be either doing another batch or getting a place to do another batch type of thing. It's something Gus has got in the way so much. Now we're finally seeing them back together, and do they split up this quickly? But at the same time, as this quickly is also the last season, so it would have to move rather quickly to get to another conflict between them too. But I guess time will tell on that.
Yeah. All right. The Ken wins Bogdan douchebag of the episode.
Oh, it's Walter White. It's Walter White.
Is it though?
Yes.
I'm going Lydia.
Okay, that's not a bad. It's not a bad shout, but I'll explain why like Walter White's the douchebag. Obviously the whole conversation we already know about the whole thing with Jesse. It's very I was like, what? Why are they doing this like voiceover work? But then you're seeing he's like making a new ricin cigarette, and then he saves the ricin as well, which is like another like I'm gonna save this for later.
Just in case I need it.
Just in case I need it. which is like another like kind of a douchey thing to do or evil thing, like just evil thing to do. And then the very like ending shots is kind of like Skylar's scarred, and then he's just trying to make a move. It's like I got your remedy right here. Just remedy this. No, I don't. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
But
I mean,
Lydia, yeah.
Walt is definitely a good one for this because he does have his moments.
But Lydia is
But
not a bad.
everything Lydia does in this, like from the tea order, break down that tea order. It's like this is the douchiest thing that has happened like since we met Ken Wins. I feel like,
Yeah,
right?
good call.
Just like she's in an old school diner. It's like, oh, you're really running my ropes here. Yeah, give me an English breakfast then. It's like we have Lipton's, uh, hot water, filtered, preferred, and a slice of lemon.
A slice of lemon.
Yeah, and then who puts a hit out on Mike? I mean, honestly,
Like
who
honestly, who puts a hit out on Mike? Like honestly,
who does that exactly? Yeah, so you've got several things going on there that I think make her just like, and Mike's telling, calm down. They're these guys. They're my guys. They're not gonna talk.
they're
You're good.
solid.
They're solid. And she does it anyway. She loses it.
I
So
want to. I was kind of interested about the list.
mhm.
Like, obviously, I think we're gonna figure out who's on the list at some point. I would kind of imagine because they're gonna be interrogated or kind of looked up for, maybe. But
Well, we learned a couple of them.
yeah,
Obviously,
on
Chow
there.
was on the list.
I'm assuming Chris probably was on there.
Chris.
That was the guy.
Oh,
That he
yeah,
that killed
probably.
Chow. Yeah.
Dennis from the laundry.
Yeah, Dennis from the
He
laundry,
was
of course.
mentioned by name.
Yeah, and somebody else from the laundry
the one
too.
that let Comey do the looky loo.
Yeah, the looky loo.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple. I don't know if we know them all.
Probably
But,
not.
they did mention a few. Okay. The pink man, stick man of the episode goes to
Tater tots. The tater tots are dipped in dressings, different dressings, sauces, I should say, different sauces.
Definitely getting it in.
Definitely getting it in. Honey mustard. We got France. A little bit of French. Yeah. What did I say? Oh, I said France.
You said France. You said, I don't know what you said.
Rewind that.
Yeah.
It's French dressing with ranch dressing.
Yes, the tater tots are getting it in something moist.
That's ketchup. Pretty much ketchup.
It's pretty much just ketchup.
That's 3% less smoky.
Yeah. My pink man award goes to the Roomba because
that's the other one. Yeah,
the Roomba got it in.
They got it in.
The cigarette. They got it in. That, how dirty is his house? Did you see how dirty that Roomba was?
Yeah,
it was packed.
Well, I liked how they dumped out a cigarette ashtray, like an ashtray, and it just left it on the ground, and the Roomba's like driving past, like riding past it.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Okay, the best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo award goes to.
Yeah, it's Lydia, played by Laura Fraser, and I was like, this lady looks familiar. Yeah, because she was the blacksmith in A Knight's Tale, and that is the movie that I know her from. And
no!
Yeah, it's the mark of my trade.
Oh.
Yeah,
the Nike swoosh.
The Nike swoosh. It's the sign of my trade. It's a great.
Wow. Great I did movie. Not put that together.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that just blew my mind.
Yeah, that I was like, that's the movie I know her from. It's an awesome, one of my favorite Heath Ledger movies. Just a fun, like not a guilty pleasure because it's fantastic. It's a great movie.
Great movie.
It's a great movie.
First time. It was the first time I saw Paul Bettany.
Yeah, Paul Bettany.
Mark Addy,
Yeah, Mark
Alan
Addy. You got
Tudyk,
Alan Tudyk, and then you got
Shannon
that
Sossamon,
yeah, dip dip
and
dip. So
Shannon Sossamon's maiden in that is Bernice Bayo
yeah, that's
from The
a good
Artist.
show. Yeah, there's a lot of like it's kind of an underrated movie that doesn't get
Rufus
talked about.
Sewell is the bad guy in it.
Oh yeah, that's a good That's
Mhm.
such a good movie that we need to deep dive that at
It's a
some point.
good
It's just
good
delightful. It's just
just
delightful.
delightful.
We need to deep dive that at one point. Anyway, we're here to talk about Breaking Bad now.
Yeah.
She's awesome in that this role as Lydia, and seeing her like it's like, oh, this is what you've been doing. Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. So
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna go with Peter Schuler, played by Norbert Weiser. He's the taste tester guy who ends up. By the way, one of, like all time great suicides there, right? Like taking the AED and putting
yeah.
the wire in your mouth. What?
Wow. And the best part is like he falls off the toilet and it flushes. I'm like, oh wow, that's great. Kind
Oh,
of great.
but like I looked him up. Like he's been in like Schindler's List, and
Mm,
he's got some credits under his name. I don't really recognize. He's one of those faces like you look familiar, but then he's gone before you can really try and piece it together. He kind
yeah.
of looks like the Mayhem guy. Um,
An older version of
from
Mayhem.
yeah, an older version of Mayhem. Yeah, but yep.
Yeah, it's like this. Like the first time that obviously the show went out of the country, not in Mexico, and that like a different part of the world because we've been in
Out of the continent.
out of the continent. Yeah, definitely. Um, it's a different part of the world, and having another character like speak like legit German too, which was pretty awesome. I think I was like, what are we doing here? And then like his character walking in Madrigal and seeing the different restaurants, which is it's very interesting. And then seeing Los Polos Hermanos being taken down. I was like, wait, did they go out of business? No. Well, they had a
I
drug
mean,
deal. Could be.
maybe.
This could be
I mean,
implied.
the owner was dealing drugs through their establishment. There's a
Establishment, yeah.
good chance they just shut the whole thing down.
Funny thing, so I'm assuming that's the Madrigal owns these restaurants, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're the parent company. Like
Apparently,
like
yeah.
there are these parent companies that own like all these fast
Different,
food chains, right?
exactly, yeah. But it's funny, like there's a Burger Matic place that they mentioned, and apparently, I was reading the wiki, Vince Gilligan's movie that he made a while back, they featured Burger Matic restaurants in it,
Oh,
which is that's a cool side little what have you. But I didn't know he made a movie, so we have to check that out. But anyway,
yeah.
cool, yeah, great suicide. Uh, so it's kind of a funny sentence, but yeah, that's definitely a kind of a way to kick off the episode. I was like, where the heck are we doing here? And then you see that it's like, holy cow, he just put that in his mouth. Oh, he just like cleared himself. Even George Clooney ain't bringing him back. No, there's no ER doctor bringing him back on that one.
No. All right, the Go Me Minor character of the episode. I'll go first on this one. I have Fran, the waitress at the diner. Like just brilliant. Dwayne, I did not see you there. You need anything else, Mike? No, I'm good, Fran. Thank you. I mean, and then the whole we have Lipton's.
Yeah.
Everything she does. Fran, played by Debriana Monsini. Yeah, it's great. Great role.
Good one.
Yeah, awesome.
That's a good one. One of the best maybe waitresses. That'd be another interesting ranking of just minor characters who are also waitresses. That'd be kind of an interesting list to do. There's a lot of good ones.
She might not even be the best waitress of the season so far, though.
That is true.
I mean,
the Denny's waitress. What was her name? Yeah, I wrote it down. Lucy. That's right.
Beverly.
It's a good one. My favorite minor character, I got to go with George Merkert. Yeah, Merkert. Because I have to foresee that this might be his last episode, so we have to give him a shout out there. because he's getting kind of like you're getting let go because of you didn't listen to Hank's lead as well as you probably should have. So you kind of it's like somebody's got to go to jail, but somebody's going to have to get fired. Yeah, so there's got to be a fall guy, so it's going to be him. So, kind of like an honorary award winner for me here is going to be George Merkert for this one.
Who's another great that guy,
Yeah.
because he's the guy, he's the bartender in the Ted Beneke Halo in Fight Club.
Ah, did not know that. That's interesting.
Everything's in tip top shape, sir.
I gotta go. We gotta check that out again.
Yeah,
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, when we did a deep dive of that, that's when I realized, like, wait, that's
Ah,
Merkert.
Merkert. Yeah.
I mean, he didn't. He was completely, everything was shaved down because he had the Halo one, kind of like Beneke. But yeah, you put hair and a mustache on him. That's Merkert. So
It's Merkert.
yeah. All right, Cowhouse. Dumbest thing said.
We're calling it France.
French.
French.
You keep saying France.
This is as worse as my NoHo Hank impression. Anyway, what is it?
French. It's
French.
French dressing and ranch.
Isn't that what I'm saying? I'm saying French.
You first said France. You just said France. Pretty sure you just said a country.
Okay, well, you're making fun of my accent, okay?
No, that's when I make fun of you for being married to a Mexican and you can't speak Spanish.
We're moving on. What's yours? We're moving on. Name one.
You're alive. To me, you've won the Irish sweepstakes.
Yeah, that's another one I wrote down too. His deliveries, he's very not impressed. It's great. He's like, you're alive. Like, that's a good one. The crystal ship. Like, that was the first time that's the first time he's ever mentioned it. He's like, the crystal ship. Yeah, that's what I called it. When did you call it that?
I was today years old when I realized that we've been calling it the crystal ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No RVs. That's a good one. No RVs. Yeah.
No RVs. And
the domicile.
I don't know. The crystal ship did us well. Crystal ship. The other one I've written down is when Hank arrives at the office. All right, how many Krauts do we got?
I like it. I like Hank and Gummy back together again.
They're quite the pair. All right. Any problems? Any outdatedness?
Yeah, well, there's a flaw when they're talking when Walter and Jesse and Saul are talking. They have the close-in shot. Jesse and Saul are like right next to each other, and they have a faraway shot. They're separated from the couch again, and then they move back. They zoom back in. They're back close together. I don't know. That I was like,
a little
continuity there. And I didn't necessarily catch this, but I saw this, and I got to mention it because I was trying not to pay attention to video games there again. But he clearly had a Little Big Planet 2 game, which came out in 2011.
Big Planet. Wow.
Yeah. It came out in 2011, but the show is technically timeline take place in 2009, so that doesn't make sense. And he has established that he has an Xbox 360, but he has a PS3 game. It's kind of interesting, which is not like outside the realm of possibility, but he never established being a Sony.
I mean, person. He probably has multiple consoles. True. I mean, he's got one downstairs. He had one in his room. He was playing with the chick.
Yeah, that's Sonic game. Don't remind me.
Yeah,
no, but yeah, that's the only one that I really saw. But it's just like the little continuity stuff. But overall, though, it was like I'm scraping the barrel here. Like it's getting to the point where like this, they clearly know that this is like the best TV show like going at the time. So they're pretty much in tip top shape on, unless you're talking about like, oh yeah, they have a phone that they're snapping in half. Like,
yeah,
like that. We're basically scraping the barrel on what we're picking as flaws, really.
I hate coming up with stuff for this. That's why I rarely do, just simply because I have to be looking at the episode in a different way that I don't want to
different
be
way.
looking at the episode. So
Yeah,
if something blatant pops out to me, I'll say it, but otherwise I just ignore it.
I noticed the continuity area of the couch like pretty obvious. Like I was like, wait a second, that's a big ass gap between you guys, and also that's really close. You guys are touching knees in the next scene. So that was
Like it went from you sitting next to each other to Huel sitting between you. So
pretty much, yeah. Like somehow there's some books that got put next to Jesse at one point too. I'm like, wait, what? I don't know. So that was pretty obvious. That's why I had to write it down. Then I was like on the wiki when I saw that the PlayStation thing. I was like, okay, I gotta mention that at least. So cool.
All right. I think my wife can overhear some things outside the door. She just texted me and said, "Hot take: Adam's pronunciation of Spanish uh, sounds like how a certain lawyer would say it." So,
Thank you, Cassie. This is just great. I love it how we're bringing our wives into this thing. I love it.
Does your wife listen to this? Because I bet she would be laughing her ass off right now.
She's like Zach, okay? She doesn't listen to the podcast. Don't talk like that in wine country, Terry. She supports me for doing it. That's what I will say.
There you go. Midlife crisis moment.
Lover of whiskey. Merkert has a very interesting whiskey. I kind of want to taste, try it. It's 100 proof Whistle Pig. Was the brand?
Oh, yes.
Good old Whistle Pig. So good old Whistle Pig. I'm like, is that a real
100
whiskey?
proof too. Like that's some good stuff there.
Hold on, we gotta research this again. We did this for another alcoholic beverage. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it is. We might have to do this for the finale. Oh, that's $100. Never mind.
It's $100 bottle of whiskey.
At Total Wine right now, yeah, it's a 10-year small batch. There's a 6-year piggyback bourbon whiskey small batch for $64, and there's 1,000 the Boss Hog Commandment Straight Rye whiskey for $1,000.
Listen to this, Todd. Adam wants a $100 bottle of Whiskey Pig or Whistle Pig for his birthday.
Yeah, there we go. Whistle Pig. There it is. Total Wine and More. They have it in stock. Aisle 7, apparently. Left Bay 3. That's what it says right there in Tacoma. Total Wine.
Well, there you go.
And yeah, it's a small batch. Whistle Pig. 100 aged 10 years. 100 proof. Yeah, that's legit right there. That's the stuff. Yeah,
that's some good stuff. Yeah. I wonder if it was $100 back then, because age 10 years, that means it was aged like when this came out.
That is true. That's actually kind of funny though. Like, we're gonna promote this whiskey. We're gonna age. Yeah, that's good. It's good. Whistle Pig.
That's great. And I you could add in the side midlife crisis moment of Hank helping himself to another glass.
Yeah, please, sir, can I have some more? No, but he pours everybody another. He's like, I don't think
he pours it for everybody. But
Gomi's not even done with his yet. Like,
okay, my midlife crisis moment also involves alcohol. There's something just comforting and like appealing to sitting in your lazy boy with a beer, a bottle of Ensure, and TCM. Like
Ensure, that's great.
Like, he's got a bottle of Ensure, he's got a bottle of beer, and he's watching an old war movie. You know he's watching TCM. Like, that's just that's a day. Like that's living the life right there. So
I'm pretty
shout out Mike again.
I didn't write this down, but they did mention the movie on the wiki too, like what he was watching. What was the movie?
I was wondering what it was.
Hold on, we'll pull it up.
It had Bogart in it. I noticed that.
Oh, that's the wrong episode. We need episode 2 here. Let's pull it up here. All right. Anyway, Madrigal. Okay, the very bottom here.
It's great.
Here it is. Okay, it's Mike is watching on TV the Kane Mutiny from 1954, so it is celebrating an anniversary this year as well.
Kane Mutiny
might be one of those come to the stable movies. The Kane Mutiny. Intro. This could be a couple to the stable if I've ever seen it. Yeah, no, doesn't say who's in it, but yeah, but it's based off
It
a
was
book.
definitely Bogart. I know that. I've heard of it.
Cane Mutiny. Interesting.
Okay.
Cool, cool, cool.
Let's get to our last few things here. LVP of the episode.
Chris, you didn't learn from Mike very well. You got taken down by a kid's toy, and just Mike being awesome.
That was pretty clutch though. The
Oh
toy.
yeah, I was like, what the heck? I was like, what? Why is he rubbing his fingers over the freaking? I thought that I was like, oh, it's her toy. That's kind of fun. That's good.
My LVP is Walt and Jesse's search methods. They checked inside the pillows. Why would it be inside the pillows? Why would
somebody
it be
likes feathered pillows too?
Why would it be a snuffed out smoked cigarette in the ashtray? This doesn't make any sense. So many things about what they're doing makes no sense. So
But it had a killer song though. Like it
did have a killer song.
It had a pretty killer song.
But I mean, you got to think though that Walt is just like, okay, how long do I have to play this up until I'd be like, hey, look, a Roomba. Did you think about checking in there?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, when did he actually do that?
Oh, probably just when Jesse had his back turned, or at one point I think he went upstairs or something and just drop it in front of the Roomba and let the Roomba pick it
I
up.
guess there could have been some conveniences there, but
All right, MVP.
oh, it's Mike.
Oh yeah. Did you do your
Yeah.
LVP?
Yeah, it was Chris. Yeah. I got Mike here. His episode was about him. He figured out a way to get the that thing they needed. What how do you pronounce it?
Methylamine.
Methylamine, yes.
Don't worry, they've only been doing it since they stole the barrel from the warehouse.
Well, I wasn't rolling it. I rolled the you rolled the answer
it's a
back.
Barrel. Roll it.
Yeah. Methylamine. Yeah, so Mike's the MVP here. He can take down Chris and as well. He's like, are you ready?
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Mike is awesome in this episode.
Good. All right. So what's your MVP, Terry?
All right. MVP, Kira's nanny. This is Lydia's daughter's nanny. Like that. She's
great
awesome.
Nanny. Yeah.
I mean, she has to put up with Lydia. Like she's got to be a saint. So that's one. My second MVP. Okay. Walt's hiding place. Like behind the outlet cover for the ricin, like that is brilliant. No one's ever gonna look there. Like that is just genius.
Genius. Yeah.
Such a great hiding place. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty clutch spot to call right there. Yeah, I didn't even think about that one, but it's pretty good. It's definitely a pretty good hiding spot. And Lydia's nanny, her daughter's nanny. It's awesome. Yeah, that could be she could have been up there for minor character, honestly.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna talk about what's next after we review the Walter White body count, which remains. I tried to think of something I could throw in there, but I didn't come up with anything.
Because he didn't really destroy that ricin cigarette. So
he didn't. And he's not. There's no way you could say he's responsible for Chow's death or anything like that. Shout out to Chow though. Chow was kind of a cool character.
Welcome back, Chow. Goodbye, Chow.
Well, welcome back to Die. Anyways, the Walter White body count is at 1 Emilio, 1 Crazy 8, 1 Ken Wins Car, 1 Custodian's Career, 1 Tuco Hideout, 1 Lock, 1 Uneaten Burrito, 1 Paper Towel Holder, Rot, 1 Backdoor to Jesse's House, 1 Love of Jesse's Life, a few burned $100 bills, 1 Pepperoni Pizza, 1 Career in Education, 1 Meth Making RV, 1 Beginning of a Galeful Friendship, 1 Fly, 2 Kid-Killing Drug Dealers, 1 Gail Bedecker, 1 Fateful Bottle of Wine, 3 Laundry Worker Jobs, 1 Walter Jr. Dream Car, 1 Pinkman Living Room, 1 Secret Underground Meth Lab, 1 Gale Special Coffee Maker, 2 Nameless Henchmen, 1 Tyrus, 1 Hector Salamanca, 1 Gustavo Fring, and 1 room full of evidence using magnets, bitch. And the Jesse ass
I
kick
will always
count.
laugh at that part.
Yeah, science. The Jesse ass kick count remains at 9.5, which means he gets his ass kicked once every 5.1 episodes.
5.1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Man,
what's coming up? What do you think?
we're gonna cook, bitch. They're gonna try to cook, I guess. Again, I think for television's sake, I think Jesse's gonna have to figure it out. I would have to imagine, and because I just like Aaron Paul so much, he's the guy that we're rooting for right now. He's the hero of our story because it's Jesse or Walter's kind of slowly becoming that villain, and having him figure out that Walter was the one who tried to kill your girlfriend's kid. Speaking of which, where is his girlfriend here? And then also Hank going more and more into the investigation of the Madrigal company. Obviously, I think we need to focus on some figure out who else is on this list of people. So a lot more possibilities I have for this one than like last week's episode, because I had no idea where we could even go at that point. But thinking about the corporation that owned Madrigal, or the company that owned Los Pollos Hermanos, is fascinating. There's so many possibilities. Like this, the other companies like Burgermatic, are they some kind of drug, like have drug things to them as well? That could be interesting. I could see one where like one's a marijuana plant. It's a gateway drug, folks. No, but yeah, I could see it. It'd be interesting to see where they go with the Madrigal stuff, because that's the truly unknown thing. Because it's a completely different entity. It's not something that's like it seems they mentioned Madrigal before, but it's completely different than anything. So it essentially could go anywhere with that story. And but obviously we know a couple things are going to fall into place. So I wonder.
You're right. They've mentioned Madrigal before. It's this huge super corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Hank discovered it when he
Mm-hmm.
realized that that's who owned Pollos Hermanos. They own the laundry. They are the ones that made the equipment that went into the lab. Like that they have their hands in a lot of different pots. So
Yeah, this is true. And I wonder if that guy is ever going to get an answer if his sauces are good. At the very beginning,
he just wants to know.
he just wants to know.
Okay. Was
Yeah,
French good? He got
is it better
nothing
than the
from the guy.
ketchup? Is it better than the
Nothing.
ketchup? Obviously, the
And
guy's
mustard,
tots are pretty good.
mesquite barbecue. All right, were they tots or were they chicken nuggets? Like
I thought they were tots. That's what I was going off.
they kind of look. Yeah, they might have been tots, and I couldn't tell if they were tots or chicken nuggets. But he had a fishbowl full of them. Like we were watching, and my wife was like, "Is that a fishbowl full of tots?" I want a fishbowl full of tots.
It does. It's something like tater tots is one of those foods. It's like if ever I go to like a restaurant, oh, you have tater tots? I'll take some tater tots, because it's like one of those like obscure items. You don't really everybody has fries, but like, oh, tater tot? Okay, I'll take some.
It's definitely a Northwest thing, but McMinimans Cajun tots with a side of ranch.
That sounds good.
Like that is worth it right there. Like just go and get the Cajun tots. Nothing else on the menu is worth the price you pay for it, but the Cajun tots at McMinimans and with the side of ranch and a beer.
Well, I'm salivating now, so
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good place to put a fork in it. And we'll come back next week where we'll be asking the age-old question: did we get our fill of tots? Find out next week, where we will be sitting.
Breaking Bad.
That's it. We'll be breaking it down even more. And what do we do every episode, Terry?
Oh, we sit and spin.
Bye-bye.